Hey, brother. Hey, I know some of you guys are listening in and some of you guys are coming in late, but, I just really want you guys to, the stuff that people like Coach G are doing for the coaching community, that's just unbelievable. He asked me to do this a long time ago, and he and I have talked before in the beginning of the year, and, it's just amazing how the coaching community has come together and just created this amazing event. We're making the most of the situation we're in, and I think it's awesome. So, congrats to him and thank you and all that good stuff. So basically tell you a little about myself, man. Right now I'm in Northwest Houston at Tomball, Texas. So I played at Baker University, went to college. Someone told me once that the thing you need to do is explain who you are before you start talking to give credentials. And you guys get a feel for where I'm at. I've kind of coached football at every level possible. And it's kind of one of those things. I just, this play has been one of those things that's really been successful for us in the past decade. And that's why I share it. I'm a believer in it. So the reason I'm going to show you this play, and I'm going to show it to you from here. So some of you guys are familiar with this. Some of you guys are not. The reason I show this play is Jim Ledford does a phenomenal job at North Carolina State previously, now at University of Louisville. I'm going to explain this play to you so you guys get a real feel for what's happening and how this play is one big dance for everybody. So let's look at this first things first. Number one, okay, this play is going to go weak, and what you're going to look for here is the first thing you understand is this play does not get read by the force player. So the first thing you're going to look at is this play is they're going to read the MA line scrimmage. So this tailback is reading the MA line scrimmage. This play is going to go to our right, and what's going to happen is this play is going to go to this position, and he's going to aim at what would be the inside foot of a ghost tight end. Okay. And what's going to happen is he's going to push to that goes for the inside tight end right here, and he's going to rocker step, and he's going to take his steps on his train track to that position. The difference between wide zone and stretch and everything else that people talk about is strictly two things. One, it's aiming points. It's aiming points for the lineman. It's aiming points for the running back, and it's understanding the timing of how the play works. So, number one, he's going to take this point to the inside foot of the tight end. He's going to take 5 steps to that aiming point. He is never going to veer off of this path to go wider than he needs to go to run wide zone. The idea behind this play is not to capture the edge. It's to push it. So that being said, let me see here. Hang on one second. I'm having problems with my computer real quick. Okay, so sorry about that, guys. So what's going to happen is this guy is going to push to the inside for the tight end. He's going to go 5 steps. He's not going to veer from his path. The offensive line is going to work covered-on-covered combos, aiming at the play side nipple of the front of the defensive line in front of them. Now, as this guy rocker steps and puts himself on his train track, he's going to stay on this path, and he's never going to leave it. We don't ever read force players in this play. You read the MA line scrimmage. So an odd front's the defensive end in a 4-4-I, whatever he's in, to the nose guard. So as you go through the process of the play, you see a bunch of smoke and mirrors. You're going to get a rocker step, and he's going to put himself on his train tracks. His shoulder pads are going to put himself exactly where they need to be, at the inside foot of the tight end. He's going to stay on that path for 5 steps. He knows that I can't leave this path at all. So he knows that I'm going to aim at this point right here, and if anything crosses my face, I'm not going to go outside. So as he takes himself, by the time he gets the ball in his hand, he knows if he's going to get outside. It's pretty simple that defensive end has maintained gap integrity. He's staying in the C gap, okay, or in that B gap right there. So that guy is no longer going to go outside. He's going to run, but he's going to keep running to his aiming point until he gets to his 5th step. Once he's determined that he's not going to go outside in his first 2 steps, he sees on his 3rd step he's not going to go outside. His eyes are now going to snap to the nose guard, the next down lineman. As he continues down his path, never leaving his path, he's going to put his foot in the ground on his 5th step, and he's going to get vertical. You see, what he's doing is he's reading the defensive end to the defensive tackle. He knows in the first 2 steps if he's getting outside, because that guy's foot is going to take him, his path's going to take him right outside of that point. That guy tries to maintain gap integrity. This play is getting pushed for width. That means he's going to cut up, and it all depends on where he's going to cut up on the center and the backside guard. You can see how this play kind of works in one big developing play. You can see how this whole thing kind of works together, and you can kind of see how this is one big dance. Showing it to you from a four-man front, okay? So LA Rams, McVay, he likes to run this play strong to his strength. So here's how this works. Going on what we just talked about, he's going to read the defensive end to the defensive tackle. He's going to aim for the inside foot of the tight end, and he's going to rocker step and put himself on his train tracks to that point. He is never going to veer outside that point unless something forces him to. So as he rocker steps and gets on his train track, he knows in the first 2 steps he's not getting outside. So his eyes immediately snap to the down lineman. Now, that being said, you got to understand that if the running back runs to grass early, he's going to run early and have to slow down and try to juke this whole thing, and that can't happen. He's going to continue down his path for 5 steps and carry the defense to the O-line. On his 5th step, put his foot in the ground and get vertical. It's a pretty easy play to understand if you understand the fact that it's one big dance. Everyone is working together in unison to try to push for width and then get a vertical. This is us this year. I just give you a heads up. Okay, we're not very fast. We get caught a lot, so don't judge us by our speed. So we're going to be going to your right on the screen to offense's left. That's the force defender, so we don't read this cat daddy, okay? What we're reading is we're going to read this defensive end to this nose guard right now. Running back's going to rocker step and get on his path. By the time he gets the ball in his hand, he knows he's not going to get outside because 48's been pushed outside. He's now going to continue down his path and read the nose guard. Nose guard gets hooked. He continues down his path, and nothing ever changes it. He just gets himself vertical at that point in time, and we're good to go. The whole thing works in one big unison. You need to understand that it's one big dance, okay? You see it from here. You can see how the whole thing works together. You see a lot of people, when you run this play and you're successful with it, a lot of people think that this is a bunch of different plays because it hits at different positions. But the reality of it is it hits where the defense lets it get hit, okay? So here's another play from the end zone. You can kind of see this. This play is going to go to your right, okay? So you can see it again. Now, the situation is as following, okay? You've got a press here, okay? You're going to have a combo. Again, this is an odd front. So you're going to have a combo here to here, combo here to here, and this guy's going to cut him off. So what you need to understand is he's reading the defensive end to the nose guard. So as he gets the ball in his hand, okay, he knows that he's not getting outside based on the fact that this guy's getting pushed outside. He's going to stay on his path as he puts his eyes on the nose guard. He knows that the nose guard's getting washed down, and he cuts right behind the nose guard on his 5th step. I'll show it to you from a tight angle so you can get a feel for it. You can go from there, okay? So let's do it from a tight angle so you can get a feel for it. So here we go. So he's going to read this defensive end right here to that nose guard right here, okay? Quarterback's going to open himself up. Boom. 1, 2. You're going to see a big wash. He knows he's not going to get outside of this thing. He's going to continue vertical for 5 steps, put his foot in the ground, and cut right off where the center's butt was. All right? Understanding how this play works. So with that being said, you guys can read this. I don't need to read this to you. All right, now, one thing's one, okay? This fits all type of personnel. We've done this from double tight. We've done it from squeeze. We've done it from empty. We've done this from about any kind of personnel and formation grouping you could imagine. It's a pretty versatile play as long as you understand the intricacies of it and how it hits and where it hits. It doesn't matter if it's weak or strong. What matters is it's here because what you're trying to get into is you're trying to get into what fits best for your kids. Next is this play is all about keeping you on schedule. You see, the whole purpose of what we're trying to get you to understand is this is all about staying on schedule. For us, 2nd down and 6 is a win. 2nd down and 7 is a win. Hey, 2nd and 10 is still a win. 2nd and 13 gets us in trouble. This play keeps us on schedule, and this is why we run it. The other thing we love about it is the fact it's repetitious. We can marry this play into any kind of defense, any kind of blitz, any kind of stunt, and we're going to be successful. Now, something very important is this. We don't ever care about your best pass rusher because we're going to run right at him. Because the majority of the time, his athletic ability and his ability and want to make plays is usually going to put him in a really bad situation. We run right at him, if that makes sense. You're going to create aggressive double teams, and you're very rarely going to leave linemen blocking one-on-one. I know when I was a player, if you're anything like me, guys, Blocking one-on-one is one of the hardest things to do in football, especially when a coach just expects you to do it. But the reality of it is sometimes that dude is just better than you. And in this offense, we don't ever expect your guys to block one-on-one. We expect you guys to be able to stay on double teams, to combo, to use people's rules against them. Now, again, one of those things people need to understand, it's repeatable. It's flexible. It doesn't matter what's going to happen. We can smoke and mirror this thing to death. I can put whatever I want behind it with window dressing, whatever I want, okay? But it's simple for the offense because it's the same play. What you do need to understand is that the blockers and runners are going to work together in unison. They know what's going on in front of them, and they're going to work together so they can create this, what we call a dance, okay? Now, what I find interesting is people always talk about it's a cutback. And if you ever watch the 49ers, you watch the Rams, you watching this isn't a cutback. This is a vertical presence play with horizontal push movement. Blockers, their job is to clearly define the read for the runner, okay, so that he can run full speed line of scrimmage and know exactly where he needs to go by putting his foot in the ground, okay? Next, it eliminates guesswork for us, okay? We can play as fast as we want to play and follow our rules, and it doesn't matter what you put in front of us. Our kids know exactly what's going to go on. And it's disciplined, patient running back, allow us to stay ahead of the chains. We tell our guys, trust the process, get us 4 yards, okay? I'm not going to show that one. I don't want to show that one.
Coach, you got a couple questions here.
Oh, I got questions. Fantastic.
Yes,
what do you got?
Do you run this with the back offset or pistol only?
I do both. I've gone under center, offset, and pistol.
What do you find gives this play the toughest time?
I'll talk about that at the end, but the biggest thing is if they put a bunch of people in every gap, like we're talking like bear with an extra guy in, it basically eliminates your double teams, and I'll kind of show you some answers off of that. Okay. So this play is going to the right, so you can kind of get a feel for it. It's one of those really weird, almost head-up plays right here. So running back is going to be aiming at the inside for the tight end, not the H-back, the tight end. We want to aim 3 feet outside the tackle. He's going to be watching this guy right here, this defensive end, to this defensive tackle right here. Okay? Now, that being said, he's going to push and he's going to understand what he's got. He's going to aim at this point right here. He's going to keep his eyes right here. So here it is. Running back's going to go ahead. We get a check from the sideline. Okay. Our running back doesn't rock or step. He's just a patient runner. So he just patient runs, by the time he gets the ball in his hand, he knows he's not getting outside of this block. But he's going to stay on that path until his 5th step hits the ground. Now, that being said, his eyes are now going to go to the defensive tackle beside him as he continues down that path. He knows that the green grass is going to hit right about here right now, but he's going to stay on his path to deliver this defense to the offensive line. On his 5th step, put his foot in the ground and get vertical right now. I'm going to talk about O-line blocking here in a second, but that's so you guys understand what the play is all about, okay? So let's talk about rules. Let's talk about how to teach this thing, okay? Biggest thing you understand to your guys. Number 1, you have to press the line of scrimmage 5 steps, okay? You have to alert for a bounce read, okay? If we think there's going to be a pinch, if we see a bunch of head-ups, we'll do everything we can. We'll bounce this thing, but we have a call for it, and basically we 3-man combo the front of the O-line to their linebacker. This is a one-cut system. You explain to your kids, for the love of everything holy, do not dance in the backfield, do not bounce, do not jump cut, do not bounce. Put your foot in the ground and get vertical. The next thing is you have to teach him straight up. You can never read the force player. That could be the outside linebacker. It could be a bear front defensive end. We don't do that. Okay? We don't do that. You read the defensive end. You read the guy head up on the tackle. You read the down lineman. If it's a bear front, we treat it like an odd front. We read the guy over the tackle. If it's an even front, we read the defensive end. We teach eye reads. You want to make sure that your running backs understand that they can't look at the ball. One of the biggest misconceptions, I think, in running back, especially in high school, is that every one of them I've looked at, guys I used to recruit, things like that, they all look at the ball when they get the ball in the mesh point, and that's the quarterback's job to get that there. It's their job to see their reads and make sure they understand where they're flowing to. So if we want to go pistol, it's real simple. You're basically, your toes are going to be at 7. You're going to be at 7 to 8 yards. If you're offset, guys, we use the same footwork and same exact placement you would use in inside zone. Okay? In pistol, you're going to drop step your opposite foot, and you're going to set the train track with your shoulders to the inside foot of a ghost tight end. Make sure your eyes are reading on the ball, and your decision is made on your third step, but your cut is made on your fifth step. Your job, no matter what, at all costs, is to get 4 yards. And a lot of kids don't seem to get that, if that makes sense to you. So, that being said, sorry, guys. Now, with that, the biggest frustration I've had, and it's been a frustration I've had for a while, is getting kids that will dance in the backfield and try to make a big play. You can't have that kid in the backfield in this play. He's got to be a kid that's bought into the system and the process. So how do we evaluate this kid? Well, number one, okay, does he stay on his train track? If I were to draw a straight line from running back to the ghost foot of the inside, ghost tight end's inside foot, okay, is that a straight track? Does he stay on a path? Does he not veer? Does he not banana? Does he not bow? Okay. On his fifth step, does he put his foot in the ground and make one cut? No stutter, no hesitation. If it's cloudy, live with your decision and lower your head and get back on the line. Here's what we tell guys, and I know some of you guys do it. We actually make our kids, we'll actually show them 2 clips from Days of Thunder. We show them when the smoke is clearing, when Cole Trickle gets and he slows down into the smoke and he ends up just getting crushed. And then we show him after he learns that you just got to put the pedal to the metal and you got to put your head down in the smoke and you're going to clear through. We tell our kids that's how we run through the hole. You put your foot in the ground, you put your pedal to the metal, and you get 4 yards. Okay. Now, quarterbacks are a little different. They're very important in what they do and how they teach this. Your heels are at 5. Even in offset, we want to be a little deeper in this play because the way this play develops, because of the angle it takes for the running back. Now, if you're in pistol, you're going to open or reverse pivot to 5 or 7. Doesn't matter. Your second step is going to be a jump to the running back as deep as possible. You're going to clear your hips like you would an outside veer for the running back. Your hips are going to make his path the angle they need to go. As soon as that ball is handed off, you're going to go from back foot and you're going to roll your weight to the front foot. And as soon as that weight gets to the front foot, you're going to drop it. You're going to explode out and you're going to snap your eyes and you're going to get 3 to 5 steps on a boot read. We tell our guys, you cannot step straight back. You must gain depth and width. And then the quarterback needs to understand his job is to hold the backside DN and backside linebacker. And so there we go. Now, I'm going to show you some film here so you can get a look for it. This is day 1 of spring ball, so you can get a feel for it, okay? So we're running wide zone to the left. Defense, you can see the defensive line is spring ball, guys. So here it is. So running back is going to aim at the foot of the ghost tight end, so he's aiming right here, okay? He's not going to veer from that path for 5 steps. The quarterback is what we're trying to watch. He's the focal point right here. He's going to turn himself open. 1, 2. Okay, notice that he's going to ride that thing, driving off of his front foot right here. He's going to step, snap his head. 1, 2, 3. He's going to try to make eye contact with the defensive end. Guys, that's a D1 DN, and he still doesn't make a play on this play because if this running back keeps his 5 steps as angle, that DN can't make that play. If he does, he needs to be playing in the NFL. So the quarterback should come to you as a coach the next play and say, hey, coach, he's not honoring me. We need to run boot. Okay, so the next play we run boot. The reason I show this play is because the next play we run boot, and we actually score a touchdown in the flat because they weren't honoring it anymore. So here's another example from the end zone copy. We're gonna run wide zone to your left. Okay, running back is gonna be aiming right here for 5 steps. His job is to carry the defense to the O line. Running back is gonna open himself exactly where he needs to go. Our quarterback's gonna open himself for the path he needs to go. Okay, here he goes. He's gonna step 1, 2, his hips are going to take the running back on the path they need to go. He's going to open himself up, snap his eyes to the defensive end. Notice that his eyes are snapped on the DN. He found the DN right here. He knows that we need to be running boot pretty soon, okay? You can kind of see how this whole play develops itself. Again, go back to it. We're slow as crap. Sorry, guys. It is what it is, okay? So, we talk about defensive ends, and we talk about how do we hold people backside. So it's our job as coaches to hold this kid. If we're going to run this play to the left, the quarterback is going to snap his eyes around. His eyes are going to be on this kid. It's his job to hold him at all costs. So on this play previously before, the quarterback's like, coach, he's not even looking at me. They're not even honoring any of this stuff. Okay, fine. So instead of booting, because we didn't feel like booting was necessary because we thought they were going to jump into cover 2, we went and ran jet sweep. Didn't block the defensive end because he had been a heel line player the entire time. So here it is. We hit it, hit jet sweep, fake the handoff. He had been heel lining for so long, he can't make this play, and we're off to the races. Okay, so now it goes back to the point, go back and look at previously. Nothing changes up front. I don't need to run a new play to run jet sweep. I just need to make sure my kids are taken care of. Everything flows the way it's supposed to flow, and we're good to go. Okay, so for you O-line guys, here's your 4 rules. We need to understand this, and you guys need to preach this, okay? And I'm just that guy. I'm a rule guy. So first thing, number 1 job. O-line must define the read of the running back with head placement. Their job is to define the read of the running back with head placement. The next thing is this, and God, it's hard for me to explain this to high school kids. Number 1, we block with the screws of our helmet to our aiming points, because if you block with your hands, you're giving that D lineman a 2-way go, and you're never really truly forcing him to move a gap with your hands. If you throw your face into that block, that guy has to make a decision. He's going to go outside or he's going to come inside. But the reality of it is you're forcing his hand, and that clearly defines the read for the running back. So you must clearly define the read for the running back with your head placement on the defense. Number 2, you're going to fight to get vertical. Now, it's one of those situations, I don't know how many of you guys can actually see me, but basically the situation is this. If I have a force going straight down vertically, that's the defense, and I have an offensive force going straight sideways, okay? Physics tells me this and this, okay, is going to make both of you guys go backwards at 45 degrees if it's the same amount of force. If I have a defensive player who's going vertical and I have an offensive player who's trying to go 45 degrees to 90 degrees, we're possibly going to push this thing to 90, and that's exactly where we want to go. We want to go flat down the line, so we want to try to step on their toes, get our hips on their hips, and we're going to try to roll our hips through. Number 3, never get beat away from your help. If I'm a right guard and I have a 3 on my outside, I have help to my left from the center, I should never get beat outside me. I have help coming from the inside, so that means I can just freaking tee off on that kid 100 miles an hour, and I can sell out to this block because if he goes inside, I have help. Lastly, O-line is responsible for the play side gap. You're not going to leave a guy that you're attached to, no matter what, until something forces you to get bumped off of that block. Once you've created contact with a guy in your gap and something comes in your gap, you cannot leave until something forces you to. If that makes sense, I hope it does. Okay, so here's an example right here. Left tackle's got a solo block. Left guard and center are working a combo to that linebacker. Now, this guy's going to push out with. These two are going to go right here. They're going to push to that guy. Okay, aiming point is play side nipple, so he's going to step with his foot, play side nipple. He's going to step play side nipple, which means he's going to step flat. We're going to work this guy to this guy. Notice how the offensive lineman is not going to, he's not going to fall off of this block until something physically forces him to do it. So here it is. He's going to stay on that block. Even though he sees something coming into his gap, he can't leave. Stay, 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 and then he pushes himself off, and the center just drives by on this play. Again, the whole purpose of this play, guys, is to create horizontal displacement, so the defense has to maintain gap integrity. People talk about moving gaps. This is a moving gap at its finest. Now, the reality of it is, if this guy's playing this A gap right here and he's trying to be strong, and this guy's got that B gap, and this gap starts moving, he's going to take that gap, but he's got an uncovered guy coming and knock the living crap out of his ribs. It's going to open him up and drive him down the line, which is going to help this guy become more successful as a football player. So if that D tackle is a bad dude, it don't matter because he's now getting double teamed and getting washed with his own momentum. And you can see how this play hits. This running back, like I said, there's a problem here. His shoulders are a little too wide. Notice that he takes his width, he almost runs outside the tight end, and that's not what we're looking for. If he had put his foot in the ground and done it properly and aimed at the inside foot of a tight end, he could have put his foot in the ground and not rounded that cut right there, and he would have had a lot more successful play, okay? All right. So you guys, most of you guys know this stuff. Is this most of you guys know this stuff. We're 18 to 24 inches. We're not wider than 24 inches because we don't want to create too much space for our combos. We are going to scoot back. We want our guards to be able to put their hands down in the dirt with the shoelaces of the center. We'll tell the referee to tell us to scoot back. In fact, we have a little rule amongst our O-line. We're going to scoot back, and we're going to put our hand on the ground. And then if the running back, if the referee tells us to scoot up, I'll tell them to scoot up in the middle of the game, and those kids will stand up, shuffle their feet, and go right back down to where they started. We made a conscious effort. Okay, we do that so that we can create a shelf to see twists, stunts, and we can see any kind of movement in front of us. Our job is to make sure there's no penetration, and make sure that we can kind of close gaps down really quickly. Okay, I'm not going to show that to you. All right, so here's how we teach this up front. Okay, a lot of people always ask, the idea behind the play is very simple. The complexities in the blocking scheme are what make this play so phenomenal. The way we teach it, we teach number one, we teach solo blocks. So we're going to teach the front side, and then we're going to teach the back side. So here it is. Some of you guys probably want to look at this, and that's cool. I want you guys to kind of write this stuff down. If you want to write it down, you can screenshot it. It's up to you. But I'm going to go through this with you. His objective is to capture the play side of the defender and define his read for the running back with his head placement. We're going to either move him vertically or horizontally. One of those three ways he cannot get moved backwards. Your aiming point is the play side nipple of the defender in front of you. We love the word nipple because it makes sense. Our kids repeat it. They can say it loudly, and it's easy for them. You cannot sacrifice a downhill strike for head placement, meaning I don't have any help if I'm in a solo block. That means nobody on my inside is going to help me. So I cannot sacrifice a downhill strike, meaning I can't just kill him. I need to make sure that my head is exactly where it needs to be. If I have to err, I'm going to err down the middle of his body, and I'm going to puncture it, and I'm going to slide my head over, still giving the running back that clear, defined read. Our first step is our tracker placement step. We're just going to step at his play side nipple, wherever angle it's at, wherever it's at. That guy's head up on me, my step is straight ahead. If that guy's outside of me, then we're going to aim it, then we're going to keep that same trajectory and that same angle. Our second step is going to be our contact step, and we're going to split the crotch. For lack of better terms, gentlemen, we're going to go nipple to dick. That's our aiming points. Nipple to dick, and that's how we do it. Second step is your power strike. We're going to take our hat. We're going to go first step for our first step, and our second step, we're going to bring the backside hand. We're going to talk about that in a second, and we're going to contact that guy, and we're going to try to roll our hips into him. We're going to move him. Okay. So that being said, I want you to look at something. This is a sophomore right tackle. Okay. Who doesn't do a very good job. But what he does do is he just steps and keeps his head running and makes a clear read for the running back. So the right tackle steps. He steps underneath himself because he's 15, and that's what they do, and you guys all know what I'm talking about. He's going to step with the second step. He starts down the middle. He's going to try to work his head. He knows he can't work it. He's going to push that guy outside, and he's going to look like a hero even though he took a terrible 2 steps, bad head placement, bad hand placement, and he still had success in that play. Okay? It's very important. Nipple, dick. Okay? So, show you again so you can see it again from this guy's perspective. Okay? Running back knows I'm reading that thing by the time I got my ball in my hand. He knows because that lineman clearly defined this read. That guy I ain't going outside. I'm going to run him outside. Now the running back knows my next read's the down lineman, and there I'm just right there. Okay? I hope that makes sense to some of you guys. Okay? Moving on to the next play. Same thing, right tackle's going to clearly define this read right here. He's got a solo block, okay? He's going to step, aim. He doesn't do a very good job, but what he does do, okay, what he does do is he makes sure that this is a clear read for the running back by pushing him off the end zone camera, puts his foot on the ground, and gets vertical, okay? All right. Now, let's talk about the backside hand on this guy. Number one, we call this a catch hand. His backside hand is going to be elbow tight, hand through the backside armpit. We're going to grip, squeeze, and we're going to lift. Our backside hand is our vice grip. We call this the puncture hand. We're going to take our hand and we're going to try to puncture his lungs with that hand, and we're going to lift. Because if you can get that kid running in one direction, your backside hand is lifting that kid, his shoulders are going to turn. You're going to get probably the easiest block in America like you just saw that kid have previously. Okay, backside hand's a catch hand, elbow tight, hand through. We're going to backside armpit. We're going to grip. We're going to squeeze, and we're going to run that kid. Front side hand finds the front side armpit after our backside hand has made contact. Our front hand is a forethought, guys. We don't worry about the front hand because the reality of it is if we reach for that hand, we're not reaching with our face, and that's going to cause a passive block, and that's going to allow our running back to not get a clear read. We're going to try to bring our toes on his toes. We're going to roll our hips. We're going to grip everything we got. We're going to try to get as vertical as we possibly can. If we can't, we're going to try, but it's going to push him horizontally at that point in time. Okay, I want you to watch the left tackle here. This is one of the kids I coached. He really wasn't one of the best kids. He looks the part, but he's really not very good. He's going to take this defensive end for a ride and not really truly block him one iota, and that's what makes this play so successful. Okay, here it is. He's going to step. He's going to step nipple to dick. He probably crossed over a little too fast. His backside hand's coming. Wham! There it is. Backside hand gets onto that rib, and he just runs him right off the end zone camera. Now, does he actually block him? Well, you be the judge of this, guys. But the reality of it is, not really, no. Not really, no. And that's one of those things where you kind of have to sit there and think, okay, at what point in time do we sit there and go, okay, we've got a left tackle who's probably not the best O-lineman in the world, but he's got decent feet and he can run his hand on the backside and just keep on running. That allowed this play to be successful, allowed us to cut and get vertical, and allowed us to get presence in this play. We cut down here. I don't know if you guys can cut. We want to cut everything backside. If you can't, I have some answers for you. Okay? All right, let's see here. So North Carolina State film, again, told you Jim Ledford, he's the man when it comes to this stuff. Okay, so first things first. I'm having trouble loading this film. It doesn't want to load. All right, it's not loading very fast. So we're going to watch the right tackle right here. So on this right tackle, what you're going to see is this guy. He's going to run this kid. He's going to try to get his head to the play side nipple. He's going to take the backside hand, okay? You're going to take the backside hand, and he's going to run this kid, and he's going to run him up the field up as far out as he can. Now, that being said, does he really truly maul this kid or block him? No. Is it really a great block? No. But what he does do is he physically moves him over, allows this guy to get vertical or get horizontal, and lets this thing develop, and which allows the running back to see this play hit much easier, and he gives him a clear, defined read. Okay. So same thing here. We're watching the left tackle now. Okay. We're watching the center now because he has a solo. We're not watching this kid. These two are working together. These two are working together. Okay. He's got a solo. He's going to run, put his backside hand. He's going to run that kid as hard as he can. Notice that what happens is this kid gives up vertical. He gives up some vertical displacement, but who cares? Keep running that kid. Give the running back a chance to be successful. Center got pancaked, but he moved that kid 5 yards horizontally, which is all you can really ask for in the situation. You can't ask for this kid to be any more successful than this right now. That's a hard block for a center. But he just kept on running the kid by, and he's got to play. Don't worry, he fumbles because nothing good happens all the time. Okay? All right, next play. Same thing, left side. You have two solo blocks now, okay? You have the tight end and the left tackle solo blocking because they're covered, uncovered. Aiming for the play side nipple, aiming for the play side nipple. Watch both their inside hands, their catch hands. That's what I'm trying to show you. Boom, boom. Watch the catch hand, run it by. Notice the front side hand's not even attached to the defender. We're just trying to push that guy by with the backside hand as much as I possibly can. That's what makes this play so successful, okay? That's what makes this play so successful. All right, hang on one second here. I'm trying to make sure I'm good. Okay. Next, let's see here.
I just got a question here for you.
Yeah, man.
Who is the fullback or H-back responsible for blocking when he leads on the play?
Okay, so it depends on if you have a tight end attached or not. So if there's a tight end attached, like right here, he has the force defender. If there's no tight end attached, he has the force defender. And then what he does is you can either tag where he goes or he goes and tries to insert himself to the safety. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so we worked solo blocks. Now we're gonna work the backside solo block. And we're gonna talk about how this works. So the backside solo is that backside tackle. The guy's got to cut off the backside, 3, 4-eye, whatever it might be, whatever defense you're seeing in front of you. So you're gonna get your objective is to get the defender on the ground, okay, to eliminate pursuit, or to cut him off so that you can define a clear running lane for the running back. The running back knows where he's going, but the backside you have to cut off. So we're going to push and we're going to cut. Our objective is to push this thing horizontal and cut this defense in half somewhere down the line. For us, we're trying to cut. We're gonna run play side thigh pad. We're gonna bite the apple off the play side knee. Now, how we do this, it doesn't matter if we're cut blocking or if we're scoop blocking. We do this the exact same way with the exact same footwork. First step is a drop step that's going to gain depth and width, and then we're going to drive off that foot and use the force on the ground, and we're going to gain and cross over, and we should be back at the line, past the line of scrimmage on our second step. Third step, we're going to target ourselves up. 4, 5, and 6, we're going to strike vertically, and we're going to go vertically up the field, and we're going to cut these guys off as fast as we can. Okay, we're going to bring our arms, and we're going to finish with grass stains on our belly as much as we possibly can. What I'll tell some of these guys out of state that can't cut, we've done before, we did in Missouri. If you have a guy that's in a 4-eye right on top of you, we just tell him on your first step, just drive out, Superman this thing, grass stain on your belly. You want more body displacement this way, but if you turn sideways, there's less body for them to get over. Okay, so here I'm going to show you. So it doesn't matter how you cut it off. For us, we're just trying to cut the thing off no matter what happens. So on this play, we're going to run this play to your left. Okay, so you can kind of see what's happening right here. We're going to run this thing all the way through. Now, what you're going to watch this tackle. He's in charge of the B gap, and his job is to try to cut off the B gap at all costs. So he's going to run and sprint at the play side kneecap of the linebacker right there because this D end's outside leverage. So he's going to take his step. You're going to see a bunch of smoke and mirrors, by the way. Okay? He's going to sprint, and he's going to run and try to cut that thing off as much as he possibly can. Now, if you're playing out of state, you can't cut, it doesn't matter. Just keep running that kid. But if you just keep running that kid at that exact same angle, that exact same trajectory, you're going to push him right by, and the running back's going to come right off of him. Okay? Don't worry, we get caught. We always get caught. Okay? Same thing here. Okay? This is one of those defenses that likes to take their defensive tackle, their nose guard, and fold the backside away from flow. So we just told the backside guard, you're going to hook this guy off. So we're going to run 1, 2, 3. He throws his body. We use this as clinic film on not what to do. We do not want to fall to our knee. He's a young kid. We want to try to get vertical as much as possible. That's the same kid you just saw on the previous play 1 year later. So you can see we push and we teach the crap out of cutting vertically, running, okay? But we still get him down. We still got to play. The idea is stretch horizontally and cut off the backside, okay? So here's a situation where if you cut enough people initially, these guys will start to slow down. This is a team that didn't want to play this. They wanted to just kind of wanted to wash and just kind of hang out. So what you're going to see right here is you're going to see this guy run and take off, and he's going to run with the same angle he would run to cut. Nothing's going to change, and then just stay locked on and run his head across play side, and you can see how it works. Okay, so we do it all, and so you know. So let's talk about, so you have the backside solo, the guy who's in charge of it. Now you got the guy who's the post man in front of him. So if this play right here, the post man would be the right guard. The cutoff man, the solo would be on the right side, right tackle. So the right guard right now, okay? He's the post man or the lead man for the cutoff block. His objective is to get to the second level, but protect his play side gap and prop the backside shade off for a cutoff. His aiming point is to protect the angle. Okay, so if that guy's in a 3, he's going to take his step at his linebacker's play side nipple and give a hand to the backside. He's going to clear the first level on his third step. So if he runs and that guy's hanging out with him, he's going to stay hanging out on his path for 3 steps. Then he's going to climb because the running back is going to run for 3 steps before he knows where he's going. The whole point of this play is the synchronization of the O-line and the running backs. Okay? Now, what he is going to do is he's going to take his backhand, he's going to stab the D lineman's shoulders and prop him up for a cutoff block. How we finish that block is very simple. We can stab it, dip and rip. We can stab and pivot, which I'll show you in a second. If that guy comes across my face, I can cut him, or I can run this guy if he comes across my face across my hole. So that's really the only 3 things he can do. He can stab him, dip and rip off of it. He can stab and bounce off and pivot. He can cut that kid off with a cut, or he can run him by the hole, which we never want to do the backside, okay? So let me give you an example here, and you can kind of see it. So first things first, what you're going to watch the left tackle and left guard, okay? This is a stab and pivot. Notice that his linebacker is right here. So he's going to step at his linebacker's play side nipple, and his second step is going to aim at his dick. So we're going to go nipple to dick. He knows that this guy's got to try to cut this guy off, and especially if he's tilted, that's a hard freaking block. So he's going to step into it. 1, 2. And he's going to take his backside hand. He's going to stab. And he's going to punch that kid with everything he has. And he's going to lean into him. And he's going to use that momentum to pivot off and bounce off to allow number 70, the backside tackle, 2, 3, 4, 5, to get his head around and make a clear, defined read for the running back. The stab and pivot is a very crucial part of this play, especially with teams that can't cut block like some out-of-state guys, okay? So, I mean, the college guys that I know that are listening to this thing, that's something you need to understand. This is a big deal. If you can stab and pivot, you've got to play, okay? But you have to cut the backside off. Now, this running back stayed on path because nothing ever told him to leave it. See what I'm saying? He just stayed on his path the entire time, okay?
Coach,
So
got a question here for you.
Yeah, what you got, man?
Coach wants to know if there's no back B gap player, would the tackle go to the backer?
Whatever you're in charge of play side gap. We don't ever touch the defensive and backside. Okay? So right now we're going to watch a center and backside guard. So you're going to get a stab and pivot from this guy, and you're going to get a really crappy head placement by this guy. Okay? But one thing that does happen is he runs him by the play. And this is what happened. This is with the Daytona Thunder, the Days of Thunder read right here. Okay? So you can see how this is going to work. Okay? The center is working with the front side guard, but he's going to take the backside hand. He's going to stab that kid to make sure that that kid's held up for a second as he leaves and goes to his aiming point. This guard has no chance right now because his head is backside. He wanted to lead with his hands. If you go back and watch his play, the first thing he leads with is his hand right front side, and his head never gets play side. So this is not a clear defined read from a running back. Now the running back's going to take his 5, put his foot on the ground and get vertical. Again, your backside hand. If you have to run him by, run him by. If you run him by, running back should just put his head down through the freaking smoke and go get 4 yards. And that's it. I mean, that wasn't even a well-blocked play, and he still got 6, 7 yards because he trusts the process. They ran him by, okay? And the running back put his foot on the ground and just put his head down through the smoke, okay? Same thing here, okay? Same thing here. Let's talk about this one, okay? Number 1, let me see here. All right, we're going to watch, I believe we're watching the front side. All right, we're going to watch the front side. We're going to watch the front side right guard and center. You're going to watch a stab and pivot. You're going to watch the overtake for the uncovered guy. We're going to get to 53. Here it is. Notice that he does not leave this block, even though he sees a threat, because this guy is not going to physically knock him off the block. See how he's still hanging on? We're just going to run this whole thing right by. Okay? Now, watching the backside is really important. Again, crappy job of a stab and pivot. His head placement never gets there because he's too busy to worry about running because he gets up the field a little too fast. Remember, 3 steps. 1, 2, 3. He's already climbing. He should have waited to his 4th step before he climbed. He would have given this tackle a head up right here. That means that play would have hit right here with 0. This guy not even existent. And this play would have freaking cut up the area. That's why it's so important that every one of these kids understands how crucial their block is on this play. Okay, so we're going to talk about 2-man combos now. So we're going to talk about front side combos, okay? All right, let me see this real fast. We're going to watch front side combo on this. So here we go. You're going to watch the front side left guard and center work together, okay? Covered, uncovered. This isn't backside. You're now front side. We're going to run this thing. We're going to aim play side nipple with the foot, okay? We're going to try to get the play side nipple here. Notice that he can't get it in 3. We're going to run this thing by, and you got yourself a play. Notice the defensive takes themselves out of the play because they're trying to maintain gap integrity. So important that these kids run on this play. Okay, so frontside combo. You have a cover guy, uncovered guy. So right now, for shits and giggles sake, I'm going to use a right guard and center as a combo call. And we're going to use maybe a 2 or a 3 on the guard, and the center's working together. So that guard means he's covered, okay? His job is he can never get beat play side. So he should make sure that he does not get beat outside because the center's helping him backside. He is aiming for the exact same aiming point as the covered guy front side, play side nipple to dick. The difference is now he can sell out to this block because he has hat and he has backside help. His hat must win head placement. He's got to try to move the defender and stay as square as he can, okay? His backside hand's got to come and control the fall in. He's got to lock his elbow out, vice grip, and lift. If that guy in front of him slants across his face, he's going to stay on his track. He's going to stay on that block, until that center knocks him off the block. Then he can leave and vacate. But do not leave until you're bumped off your block. Okay? So here is an example of this exact play. You're going to watch, I believe we're going to watch the left side here. Okay? He gets worked. Number 2 rule, you cannot get beat away from play side. 76 gets beat away from his help and puts himself in a really bad situation and makes the running back cut back when he should have had to cut back. He had help on the inside. He should have stepped, put his head play side, seen the flow. Stop trying to square it up. Get your head right here and run that kid. Your center will help anything on the backside. Okay? That puts the running back in a really bad spot in a play that probably should have gone a lot further. And this is exactly right here why you don't do all this cut back in the backfield. Notice all the cuts, whoop, and whee. Most of the time, if that defensive end gets there, he knocks the living piss out of a kid. You're telling a kid, hey, I told you not to do that. I knew that had to hurt. Okay? So now let's talk about the uncovered guy. So the uncovered guy is the guy who's going to be playing like guard, center, whatever might work. He's the guy that's working uncovered, trying to capture the covered guy's guy for him. Here's what you have to understand about a defensive lineman. If I'm the center, I'm going to the right, and there's a 2 or a 3. That guy can only do one of 3 things. He can run away from me, he can run to me, or he can hang out and try to maintain his gap on that guard. Those are the only 3 things that guy can do. So what we do is we read feet. If I see color away from me, all I'm going to do is I'm going to stay on my track for 3 steps to make sure nothing happens. Then I'm going to use my same angle of departure, and I'm going to climb to the second level of my combo. Because if that guy goes away from me, that means that covered guy is just going to run him off the screen. If I take my step and my head snaps that way, and I'm closing that gap down as fast as I can, and I see color to me, it's my job. I got to freaking hook this guy in 3 steps. I'm going to take my eyes, I'm going to screws my helmet, I'm going to get to the play side nipple, I'm going to take over, I'm going to press square as I can, knock my guy off, because remember, he's not leaving, and I'm going to lock the backside elbow in hand. I'm going to try to overtake this guy. If I can't hook him in 3 steps, I'm going to run him off the end zone camera. And lastly, if I take my 3 steps and I know I can't take this guy over and my combo is just hanging out over there, we call this a hanger. If you get a hanger on my 3rd step, I am literally going to Mike Tyson uppercut punch the ribs of the D lineman that's on my covered lineman, and I'm going to shove him into tomorrow. I'm going to run, and I'm going to knock the piss out of him until that guy flies off the end zone camera. Guy to just run him bound, and I can now climb to my second level. You've seen a couple of those already. So here's one right here. So this is a color to me. So this is an odd front. You're going to see the defensive end right here. Okay. Defensive end is going to go. He's going to shoot to B gap. You're going to hang on this block until this guy takes over. You're going to try to hook it, and then we're going to climb together. Okay. So you're going to see it right here. Color to me. See, 1, 2, head placement. Make an easy read on your running back. You slam that guy in. 72 tries to stay on that block as long as he possibly can, but he can't turn his shoulders. You can't do that. Okay? And you're going to stay square. You're going to climb vertical for your presence, and now you pin that whole 3-man front in. Okay? And that's very crucial. So the next play you're going to see is you're going to see a true combo with a shove. So we're watching the tackle and the guard work together here. Tackle and guard, same front. Now this defensive end is going to maintain his C-gap integrity. Okay? He's going to maintain his C-gap integrity. 1, 2, 3. He sees color away. He's now going to climb after his 3rd step. 1, 2, 3, climb. Angle departure put me exactly where I needed to be. He's going to put his foot in the ground on his 5th step. He's going to get vertical, and now you got to play. Okay? And that's how it works. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the naked boot off of it, but the reality of it is if you don't run naked boot off this play, I would not recommend running this play because you have to have an answer to the backside. So I hope that helped you guys out. If you have any questions, man, holler at me. That's what I'm here for. I'd love to help you guys out.
Awesome. Yeah, does anybody have any questions for Coach? I know we got to a few of them, and then some were asked in here, but you covered it as you were going through the presentation. So if anybody has any questions for Coach, while they're doing that, do you mind sharing your Twitter handle or email, the best way to get in contact with you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'll just do this. You guys see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you do. So we'll do this. Boom. There I am. It's at Coach Codutti. If you can't spell my name, Sorry, you and everybody else in America. That's me. If you guys have any questions, feel free. Like, I'll stop everything usually, man. If somebody has a question, I DM right back. Everyone knows what we do. I am who I am. I stay true to it. So, this is a play for us. It's been versatile. We in fact, we run this about 90% of our plays, so you can kind of get a feel for it.
Do you RPO off of it? The question was asked.
Yeah, I do. So especially, we'll do both. So I'll give you an example. Let me get back to this if you don't mind. So we're gonna go wides and cut-ups here. So let me do this real fast for you. Hopefully I can get to it. Okay, so yeah, we'll turn our back to it. We'll do a little bit of everything, man. So here's one right here. So here's an offset that we do. We do the old-fashioned, and LSU had made this quite popular this year. We've been doing this for a long time. We're gonna slant and flat in, and we're gonna read the apex defender here. So we're gonna take it. He's gonna slant. He sees the apex defender try to wall. There it is. So we'll do it out of offset. We will also do it out of pistol, and we'll actually do it. Oddly enough, we will actually do it. We'll actually do it with behind our back. So we'll pre-snap it. So let me see if I can't find one for you here. That's offset. I don't know if I have one in here, to be honest. Actually, I do. Hang on. Let me go to the wide zone clinic again. I do. We'll turn our back to it. We'll pre-snap all that stuff. So like, here's one for you. There we go. I think our back is turned. Nope, not on this one. Big right. Nope. I know I got one. So we'll turn our back on the pistol, and we'll actually run it that way. I don't know if I have one in here or not. I got to look at it. So might have to give me a little time here. But yeah, we'll do that at pistol. We'll turn our back to it and we'll throw it because we know what they're going to do. So.
Got a question in here. It said, you said the bare front or loaded front hurt you. Anything else?
If they're going to squeeze the front side and try to squeeze the edge and not allow flow, it's, that's going to hurt you because this play depends on flow. So if they're going to stop flowing, I'll be honest with you, run toss. Like right now. If you notice that San Francisco and LA Rams got really successful with it. LA Rams had to figure this out in the Super Bowl. When the New England Patriots got in every gap against them, you eliminate double teams, you don't allow for flow, and now you got a situation. Normal bear fronts don't bother me because bear fronts will still flow because that outside linebacker will still flow because he's in charge of the outside. He's in charge of outside contain. So, but if we see people just trying to squeeze the inside and not allow us to get double teams, then we'll just get on. We'll get on the edge with the toss or jet sweep.
Got a question here. It says, Coach, I'm a new O-line coach. Our OC likes stretch and wants linemen to reach and climb and have to get to the outside. Is this blocking that different to stretch outside zone?
Yeah, it's a totally different thought process. So for this I'm going to try to hook you for 3 steps. If I can't hook you, I'm just going to push you. Running back is not aiming to the sideline or 4 yards outside the tight end. He's aiming at the tight end. This is a downhill run play with a horizontal stretch for the first 3 steps, basically is all it is. So if you're running stretch, that's the old school outside zone. We're going to open up and we're going to turn our shoulders to the line of scrimmage and we're going to run perpendicular. That's not what we're doing. And I think there's a lot there. Someone once told me the difference between outside, like stretch, wide zone, mid zone, and inside zone is simply this. And someone's going to be like, no, he's wrong, but it is what it is. Everybody's the same. Stretch is aiming point. Stretch is aiming 4 yards outside the tight end. Wide zone is aiming at the tight end. Inside zone is aiming at the guard, and our mid zone's aiming at the guard, and inside zone's aiming at the center. That's the tight.
There you go. Anybody else have any questions?
I couldn't have been that good, man.
Can you talk about blocking the bear?
Blocking the bear is no different than if you blocked it in an odd front. So let me give you an example. So if I was to block the bear front, okay, hang on there. Is that it? No. Bear front. Okay, so if I'm going to block the bear front, I'm going to treat it the exact same way as I would an odd front. Okay, so number one thing you need to focus on is this. What's going to happen on this play is no matter what, we stay 5 for 5. So they just shifted a guy over, but it's still a bear front to us. We're going 2 for 2. We're going 2 for 2. We're cutting that guy off. this guy's going to lead block on the outside linebacker. So we have to find a 6 blocker to take care of the 6 defender. Basically, the 6 defender is all we're doing. So you can see what happens right here. That's all it is. Boom. We don't treat the bear any different than an odd front. We don't get scared of that stuff. We just follow our rules.
Anybody else? I think I want to see if I missed one. No, I think I'm good. It was asked if you could show a clip of the naked boot.
Oh, I can show clips, brother. Got lots of those, man. Yeah, let's go to it. So we're sitting. Where are we at here? I'm on that clicker. So let's go. Absolutely. I have a whole presentation on this one, man, if you really want one. So, okay, so the naked boot is pretty simple, and it's the naked boot. Here we go. All right, here we go. So here's what you need to understand about the naked boot, okay? It doesn't matter what you run. You have to understand that it basically is a scan read, and it's basically bringing everything back into the run, into the quarterback's eyes. So somebody has to clear the corner, okay? So somebody has to clear the corner. Somebody has to get to a flat. Somebody has to get to 17 to 22 yards out of bounds, and somebody has to split the uprights. It doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter where from you do it. But somebody has to get to each one of those 4 spots. So as the quarterback turns himself around and gets his eyes around, he's going to read the flat first for a blitz, and he's going to read the crosser to the post. Now, with that being said, the post is usually a home run shot that you call, okay? So like this play right here, we call this one 100%. This is a called post. So we're in trips, okay? We knew by motioning a guy into the backfield in the 20, they were going to try to rotate safeties down. They were going to try to bring a safety back, and we knew the guy they were trying to roll back wasn't that good, okay? So what we do is we're going to open ourselves up. Quarterback's going to set himself up. He's looking flat first. Flat was taken care of by the outside linebacker in the mouth. He's going to look for the crosser. He doesn't like the crosser because he sees that safety kind of hanging. He doesn't think he's got it. And then he's going to look for the backside post on a home run shot. Okay? And that's what he gets. But reality, we want to hit the flat. So when you run this concept, I got a bunch of these, by the way. When we run this concept, so here it is out of like a diamond personnel. Okay? Someone's got to get 17 to 22. Somebody's got to clear. Somebody's got to get to the flat. Somebody's got to split the uprights. It doesn't matter what formation you're in. Okay? This guy's going to run the clear. Quarterback's always going to read the flat first. Flat guy had bailed. Throw the flat right now. Stealing yards. That was dirty. So I hope that helped. Absolutely. You can be as creative as you want with it, guys. We've done a lot where we've gotten really creative with that play. So, questions?
No, that was awesome. Anybody else? Any questions for Coach? Coach, I appreciate you jumping on, man, and spending some time. I know you've been super busy, so for you to come in and spend some time with us and talk some ball, man, is awesome. So I appreciate that.
Dude, I hope it was good. You know, I know we didn't have a lot of people in here because it was so late and all that good stuff. But, man, I appreciate y'all, dude. If you guys have any questions, holler at me, man. Coach G, I appreciate you, dude. This is awesome doing this for everybody.
No doubt. No doubt, Coach. Thanks again, man. Guys, appreciate you guys checking in all day, man. We had some great talks today. Wrapped it up on the right foot. So thank you to Coach Codutti for checking in with us on the evening tip and dropping some knowledge on wide zone.